Bliss, bliss, bliss. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. I'm telling myself, everything will be all right. I'll be glad. I am so grateful that I'm returning to my team where I don't have to do it all myself. Ooh, 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 ooh. Where, what camera am I looking at? Okay. All right. And no. Yes. All right. All right. All right. Did y'all hear me singing my song? Did y'all hear me singing my song? Okay. So let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome. Let me get my notes. Welcome. 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 We are on day 3. Bliss, bliss. Aloha. And assalamu alaikum. Hotep, namaste, ashe, new day, shalom, all the okay? Let's see here. So, Facebook, boy, it does not want you to be streamed. Oh my goodness. But you know, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. We are doing had the inspiration. I'm Miss Felicia Muhammad and have the inspiration to come and share with you for this holiday season, right? Supporting you to be able to know how to transform, clear, and no longer be triggered. No longer allow those triggers during this time of year to control and navigate how you show up inauthentically this year. We are supporting you to be able to be your best self and show up as your most integrous, heart-centered, growth-minded, committed to self-mastery, vulnerable, transparent, purposeful self, right? And so I'm in a different environment today. I want to give a shout out and appreciation for all of the veterans. We appreciate you. And, you know, it's one thing, like I said, we're doing this holiday, what is it called? It's called the Holiday Harmony Sanctuary. The Holiday Harmony Sanctuary. All right. And so, the other part of that is rising above emotions. Okay. And this is part 3. I have been having so much fun doing all the things, right? Mastering all the opportunities for growth and increasing my skill sets. So grateful, so thankful. And what we want to do today, we're going to pick up from where we left off yesterday. And I'm going to give you we're going to do a live demo, all right, with showing you how to clear, transform the limiting beliefs, right? And so, as I was stating before, as a recap, this almost did not happen because I was stuck in my own stuff, all right, my own low vibration frequency, that was keeping me all in my head, and when it was perfection. And as I was able to recognize and be honest with myself about what that was and deal with the facts, which were that it was an inspired action, and I know it wasn't scheduled out 3 weeks or a month in advance. However, when God moves you, spirit moves you, then you do it. And so I was able to put it together with grace and ease and said, let's do it. It's not perfect, it's real, and we are doing it. So I am really committed to providing more value to you. All right. And we here at Oneness Wellness Lifestyles, we are definitely committed and purposefully loving you and empowering you to be able to recognize and no longer compartmentalize your life. It's oneness. Okay, it's oneness. So you got the heart, you got oneness. Okay, so it's oneness. And due to the fact that I'm having a lot of firsts. Our family is having a lot of firsts. Friends and family who love my mom, we're having a lot of firsts. Okay, November 1st was her birthday. So it was the first time without her for her birthday, right? And, I need to charge. I need to plug this in. Okay, hold on. I need to plug this in. Oh, that one's already taken up that spot. Let's see, and that one needs to be charged. So, well, I'm not using this, so I can use this. Okay, cool. That's what we'll do. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So, yeah, we're experiencing many firsts. Okay. Give me one moment. This is why you have a team, and I miss my team in Hawaii, and we'll be together soon, real soon. And so we're celebrating many firsts, all right? Yes, I said celebrating many firsts. And that's what she would expect of us. I actually had a visitation from her yesterday, and it was totally amazing. And so for those of us dealing with grief, depression, sadness, people pleasing, overwhelmed with the holidays, on all the things, and of course what's happening, just the world climate, right? The world climate. So all this that is occurring, I was guided to be able to come and share with you with some of the resources that I have access to, and some of the processes and ways of being, ways of thinking, ways of showing up, ways of reflection and awareness. I was empowered to be able to share that with you. And so that's one of the reasons I'm doing this. We're doing this series, and it actually started as a one day, and it has developed into multiple days, because again, I want to be able to support, whether you're listening live and or to the replay, I want to be able to support you during this holiday time to know how to experience some harmony during these holidays. All right. During this time, you'll be with family and all of that good stuff. So, and it doesn't have to always be trauma, drama, and you don't have to always be triggered. All right. So we're supporting you to be able to experience with every calm breath. And with these calm breaths, you're wrapping your neurons in confidence. You're wrapping your neurons in peace. And as you're wrapping your neurons in peace, you are wrapping yourself, your cells, and raising your vibration, right? In peace. Your esteem, all of that is being wrapped up. And we're going to show you exactly how that's happening. So if you have some beliefs, traumas, triggers that are occurring for you, I'm going to definitely give us a few. But if you have some of your own and you want to experience a clearing of that, so you can know for sure that, okay, this is what we did yesterday, and now this, as a result, I'm reacting differently. It doesn't affect me the same way. I feel different in my body when the thought of it even comes up. All right. And so, as I said, I am Miss Felicia Muhammad, and if staying calm feels impossible, today you'll see that it's not your fault, it's your neurons. And I don't like blaming the neurons, but just follow me, okay? We're going to really help you to be able to really see what we're talking about here. And so if you are with that, and you are in alignment with that, just type rewire. Type rewire in the comments so you can really understand and be open to getting ready to experience what's actually happening under this beautiful crown, that you have. All right. So as I stated, last week, I did the first one on Sunday, had some technical challenges, and like I said, I almost canceled everything, and then realized, really what the truth of the matter was, and as I was able to acknowledge that, I realized it was some patterns that have been occurring. That wasn't the first time. It's been a repetitive loop, a repetitive cycle that has been showing up in other areas in my life. Right? And so, since I am declaring and accepting my power and who I am, yeah, get him, Marley. Go get him. Go get him. You'll see who it is. Go get him. It's your favorite person. As I am accepting who I am, right? And the authority that I have been, that has been willed to me, given to me, right? From the source of all that is, the all in all that breeds all of us, no matter what name we call that infinite source, right? I wanted to be able to come in for you, help you to, okay, look at me, and, if it reflects you, then okay, cool. No problem. Then let's go. So if that resonates with you, right? If that resonates with you, and at this time, as I talked about the grief, the overload, the guilt, the exhaustion, trying to do everything and be everything to everybody, right? If you know that that it's time for that to cease, right? And that you're ready to do something different, you're ready to take responsibility for how you've been showing up and what you've been doing, right? And that you're not broken. You've just been, and we're not broken, okay? We're not broken, right? We've just been practicing survival more than we have serenity. That's what we've been doing. We haven't been true to ourselves, right? And we have been running loops and programs that were part of a conditioning. So drop a yes if that lands, so that your nervous system knows that you are here. Drop a yes if that lands, so your nervous system knows that you are here. So when we look at, so for the past 2 days, like I said, this is day 3. I'm going to do just a little recap, and then we're going to get right into the clearings and what that looks like. So we're going to talk about what's happening. We're going to recap, because I talked about yesterday what's actually happening in the brain when we have these repetitive loops, right? And then when we do what's called pruning and replace it, what's actually happening with the neurons, right? What's happening with the neurons. So I'm going to breathe right now, and I want you to inhale, hold, and exhale. So that your brain knows that you are safe. Because we've talked about a lot based off of what I'm experiencing, right? And I know it's, a lot of us are experiencing that. People are checking out of here like, they checking out, okay? They checking out of here. And so what we are doing is, and what we're going to be doing moving forward is, we're talking about rewiring, radiating, and you now get to decide. So I want to thank you for supporting me and being here. And if I'm taking too long to get to it, okay, no worries. The more I do this, the more I get back in my rhythm of doing this, the more succinct it is. So full transparency, all right? I'm telling you, y'all know I can talk. So I am choosing to be very, and I got some very good feedback yesterday from some people that were listening, and I was impressed. I didn't take it personal, because I know I can go on, and I am choosing to be sure that I give you some value. All right. So when we decide that we want to no longer be in survival, or that when we accept that we are in survival, the fear is, if we come out of survival, then what? Because how has this survival, being in survival, supported you? Now, what crutches now do you have you created as a result of always being in survival? What crutches have I created as a result of always being in survival? So when we decide from survival mode to come from survival mode, the fear is the GPS. Is like boop, 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 and you're alert and you're more aware of what's not happening, right? The false evidence appearing real. The things, this can happen if I don't do this. This is gonna happen if I come out of survival, right? And how I'm gonna be different? How they gonna look at me? What's gonna happen? I've always been doing this, right? So breathe. And so when you decide, and as I have, and as I continue every day and declare to no longer be in survival, and I say it a totally different way, and we're going to get into that, right? So when I declare that, and I'm saying it this way so you can see the contrast, okay? So when you decide that you want to you're coming from survival, and fear is the GPS, and now you are choosing to be, as we talked about earlier, in serene and serenity. Now your intuition is your GPS, okay? Now your intuition is your GPS. Oh gosh, I don't have my TikTokers on. Okay, oh well. No worries. I'll upload it or go live later and talk about it, right? And so what does that look like when we are coming out of survival and now being serene and using our intuition to guide us, right? And I want to say something real quick about this intuition, because many of us, we all have it, all right? We all have it. And many of us don't pay attention to it. We downplay it. We brush it off. And then we'll always say, something told me, I had this feeling in my stomach. Something told me. And some of us are more kinesthetic, than others, right? And so I'm imploring you to begin to decide this day to start trusting and listening to it, and just start small. If that fear is welling up in you, it's like, oh well, I don't know about that. Start with things that are measurable, that you can get immediate results from, to build up your trust of yourself. Because that's the issue. It's the building of the trust of yourself. And that's why a lot of times we can't trust other people, because we don't trust ourselves. So I'm just saying, I just wanted to drop that right there. So, for example, how can you apply this in everyday life? With trusting your intuition, listening to your intuition. Do it with your spending habits. I know I just had a thought of how this applies to me today. Okay? Okay? And even being able to say no, when you have some apprehension and that first thought is coming up, right? And it's like, no. And then you're like, oh, well, I don't know. But I can relate to that too. Yeah, I can relate to that too. And even another one is big during this time is family obligations. So I'm setting this context so you can see that it doesn't have to be hard. And when we begin to look at the things that we're doing every day, the habitual things that we're doing every day that we take for granted, you can start to apply this principle in your life, right? So yesterday we also talked about how when we are looking at these beliefs that we hold, and these triggers, the beliefs that are triggers, right, that manifest, or you interact with them as they are triggers, because they are reactions to things. And so because we're in the holiday season, and there are just certain things that you do every year, with getting with the family, cooking, you may go on vacation, you may not go on vacation. There may always be, like last year, there may be some challenges with money. And even more so this year, right? With everything that's happening in the world. Well, what I'm saying to you is that it doesn't have to affect you. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to have the same experience in your interaction with it. It doesn't have to be the same. It can be different this year. It's up to you, and you can decide to show up differently and be differently. And I want to support you in being able to know how you can communicate with the subconscious mind to clear, transform, transmute, clean your aura up, your energy field, right? So that you're not triggered, and the stress and the weight of those things are no longer a issue for you. Okay? So the conscious mind we talked about is this prefrontal cortex, right? And we think that what we see and all of that is what controls everything that we're experiencing and creating, when it's not, right? The subconscious mind is. And how can we prove that in no limit of time? All right? Because every thought that you think you are creating, whether you verbally say it out loud or not, right? And you know that because you can think of somebody and you ain't said nothing to nobody, and then they call, right? Or they may knock on the door. If you don't have a rule where you got to call me before you come over here, right? If you let people come to your house and they don't have to, call you first before they come. Yeah, you think about them and then they come to your door and it's like, oh, I was just thinking about you, right? So with the subconscious mind, it controls 99% of everything we experience. And now spirit has always been the forefront, right? Science is now catching up with it. So I normally would say this is where science meets spirit, and I'm changing it to say this is where now science is catching up with spirit. Okay? And when we look at the subconscious mind, the autonomic nervous system, how do we know it controls everything that we experience and see? For one, did you tell your heart to beat a few minutes ago? Are you telling your pancreas, okay, pancreas, process, make sure I got enough insulin, to process this glucose, right? So all my levels are straight. So I'm not pre-diabetic, so make sure everything is processing right, liver, kidneys. You're not doing that. You're not doing that. It's happening automatically. All right? It's happening automatically. So, subconscious mind is the goal setter. No, the conscious mind is the goal setter. The subconscious mind is the goal getter. The goal getter. So, hold that thought. Write that down. All right? And this is another way how you can tell when you are living, let me see how I need to put this together. Give it to me. When you're out of sync and you're living in the past, right? Because when we are, we are so funny. We are really some very unique beings. In more ways than one. So when we are looking at this programming and this triggering, right, and being triggered, it's always connected to something that's in the past. It's always connected to something that's in the past, right? And so that's why we're having this conversation, because now, as I'm thinking about my mother's passing, right? She died June. She made her transition June 9th. And she's no longer here, right? So it's natural to be able to be in grief and miss her and, remembering, all that she did and who she is and all of that. And it brings me so much joy to be able to do that, right? And so that's cool. I mean, you have that. That's a part of the past, right? And so what I'm speaking to specifically is our feelings and our emotions, right? That keep us in these patterns of low vibration energy, where we are now creating a momentum that keeps us in that cycle, right? And it seems like it's a rat race and we can't get out of it, right? We can't get out of it. And I'm telling you that you can. I'm telling you that you can. So all the triggers, no matter the degree of intensity that they are, you can disconnect from that trigger. You can cut it off at the root, and it no longer has to be an issue for you. Yes, you can do that. All right. And so the other point I want to bring up that we talked about was relative to the neurons. Yes. Okay, so this is important. All right. So when we're looking at the subconscious mind, so you recognize that the subconscious, the things that the subconscious mind or other than conscious mind controls, those are important things. Just like important, because if your heart stopped beating, you are out here, right? And so when we are looking at the thoughts that we are thinking, right, and thinking about what we think about, when you have the courage to take an honest assessment of the thoughts that you think and what's occurring in your life, you'll be able to recognize you are not a victim. And I know some of y'all want to challenge me on that, so no problem. Just DM me. We can talk about it and we can prove it. Okay? And I say that from experience and knowing that everything that happens is being allowed to happen. So God is allowing it to happen. We're co-creating the experience with it, right? And I know it can sound 40 karat crazy, whether you believe in a higher power source or not, even if you're atheist. Energy, every thought is energy. It's a frequency. And there are so many things that are being allowed to occur, and I'm going to pull myself back in because this is a conversation that definitely we can grow through and really be able to see that if and when, take if out, when and as we come into a consciousness, and this is happening around the world, and I'm a part of different groups where this is occurring, where we are focusing our attention on high vibration frequency thoughts and experiences and sending that love and that energy and that bliss and that joy out in collective consciousness. Changes are happening. So we're in multiple dimensions. All right, that was not what we were going to be talking about. And I just want you to know that as you begin to accept responsibility for yourself and do this inner work, you are opening yourself up to accessing the God source and power that is within every cell, every muscle, every tissue, every fiber of your being. All right? And that when you, and as you, and I'm going off on a tangent, okay, when you, and as you begin to, again, I'm going back to this thought, think about what you think about and have the courage to accept responsibility for the thoughts that you think, you'll think some different thoughts and you'll have some different experiences. All right? And so with that being said, with being able to recognize that a trigger for the holiday may be that you feel like you might decide this year, well, I don't want to celebrate Christmas. I don't want to. And not because you don't have any money, because of what's happening in the world. It's just old. It's just like some people, just, who is Santa Claus? Really? Who is Santa Claus? Right? You tired of promoting the myth, the lie, And so you must just decide, I don't want to do it no more. And it could be many other reasons. I'm just saying, I'm using this as an example. So you're like, well, they'll be mad at me, if I say no, I don't want to do it. But you're going to do it anyway. And this is just not for the holidays. This is for every area in your life. And you can see how this shows up in one area, how it shows up in another. Because what I always say as I'm working with clients is that, and when we work in sessions, no matter how many sessions they get, whether it's one or I've been working with one person for like 15 years, her life totally different, right? So 3 areas that are always affected: your health, the money, in your relationships. When one of those three is out of sync, all of them are affected. All of them are affected. So no longer compartmentalize yourself. Compartmentalize your life, because it's all connected. That's another point I want to make sure that I say. It's all connected. It's oneness. All right? And so whether you have the limiting belief this holiday season of, they'll be mad if I say no, I can't relax till I get everything done, I'll get some rest after the holidays, right? Says who? Says who? Right? Because later never comes, and something else is going to happen, and you're still going to be putting it off, and then your body is like, oh, bruh, you can't treat me like this. No, I've been giving you signs. I've been giving you symbols. You got pain here, you got pain there, and you ain't paying me no attention. Okay, I'm going to shut down. And then you got illness, and then you want to be, oh, woe is me. When the body always gives us a sign. It communicates to us. It talks to us. And you can talk back to it. And I want to show you how to communicate with your body, so you will be able to recognize and take responsibility for this temple that you have been divinely given. Okay? All right. I think, let's see. Okay, so the other point, the reason I was saying all of that, okay, was about this brain thing up here, right? So, see what happens when, first of all, did y'all get all that? Did y'all get all that? Did you have anything you can take away from that? Just drop a yes, or drop the word that dropped down in your spirit and was like, oh, okay. Or like, dang, I felt that. So drop something down there so we'll know. And your, even more than we'll know, you'll know, and your brain, the neurons, that energy will lock it in. So you'll be able to be like, okay, yeah, well, I'm reconnecting with that. So I got to go deeper. With that. I got to do some inner work with that. Because I need to think about that some more, right? All right? So, when we go through this process, and I show you how to communicate with the body, when you are able to, so what's happening in the brain when you have a thought, right? Because we was talking about what you think. When you have a thought, you got this neuron, right? And it's attached, right? And you got the neurotransmitters that's up under the neuron, okay? And when it's attached and it's rooted now, because you've said the same thing, oh, you're never going to be any good, you're like your mother, you'll never amount to anything, all that negative stuff that keeps coming in. Or let's see what's happening during the holidays. Okay, so I know some people that have some stuff, okay. Because I don't want to do it, I ain't doing it. I wasn't always like that though, so I'll tell you, this has been a work in progress, okay? It's been a work in progress. Right, okay, so feeling like you got to do everything, you got to do all the cooking. You got to go to the store and you got to go get the food, right? And everybody's expecting, well, she always does it. She does it every year. She does it every year, right? And so they expect you to do it. So now you have that, well, I got to do it. It won't get done unless I do it. I got to do it. It ain't gonna be done right if I don't do it, right? So you got that thought that's in a continuous loop, and just know that what you give your brain, it gives you more of that. The thoughts that you keep thinking, it gives you more of that. So look at it like this, right? Imagine you have a old thought, that thought, and it's a worn dirt path, right? This dirt path is worn and tattered, right? And every time you stop walking it, weeds begin to cover it, right? So you have this old thought that's a worn dirt path. I want you to get this, right? You have this old thought that's a worn dirt path. But now you're not walking down that path anymore. You're going another way. So it's been unkept, right? And so weeds and stuff are coming up because now you're not walking that path anymore. Okay? So when that happens, that's called pruning. All right? So now when you choose to replace and you decide, well, I'm not going to do it all this year. I'm not doing it all by myself this year. Right? I'm not doing it. You made that decision. When you choose that new thought, you got a fresh trail of lights coming up. You got a new neuron that's coming in now, and you committed to that. So now that's what you're looping in, right? You're looping in this new thought, this new empowering thought. And that repetition, by you doing that, that begins to coat the myelin sheath, right? And the myelin sheath is the insulation that makes that new thought, it creates the route faster for you to continue to have that thought, that repetition, and it gets anchored and rooted in faster. That's what the myelin sheath helps to do. Okay? It's the insulation that makes a way for the fastest route for you to have that thought to get anchored in. Okay? And so just know that when you decide to stop doing one thing or change one thought and one negative thought, and you're replacing it now with a more empowering thought that is in your highest benefit, that you're not overreacting. You are rewiring. Okay, you're deprogramming yourself. You're doing that. Okay? And so now, with that foundation being laid, please inhale, because I need to. And then hold for 2 seconds. And now exhale. All right, and just know that this is another whole topic with breathing, child. Lord have mercy. Because we are not intentional with our breathing. Okay? So when you're doing this in the comfort of your own home, and you're looking at all the things that no longer serve you, right? And this is the ideal time. We're in the 11:11 portal, right? This is the day to look at all those things that no longer serve you and decide for yourself, what are you choosing now? What are you replacing those old things with that no longer serve you? What are you replacing that with? And you have the energy to support you in that shift. That's why this session today is so important. And I didn't even realize it was 11:11, right? I did not. I'm so just not in that day stuff. So anyway, you are being given tools and processes and support, cosmic support from the gods, support from the angels, all right, support from the fairies, support from the magical people, all of that. You got support, however you want to look at it. You got support. That's the bottom line, okay? So just know that when we do the breathing, especially when, we're heavy laden, right? And you focus in on that breathing. That breathing helps the brain know, that you are safe. Yeah, that you are safe. And so, guess what else it does? You got a new identity now. You're not the same person. You are not the same person. Oh, hallelujah. You're not the same person. Because the same person who was like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'll do it. And then you decide, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going to let somebody else do it. That's you're a totally different person. Now you have a new identity. You have a new identity. Now, how are you going to actualize that identity? Right? How are you embodying that identity? Right? So now what I want to support you in being able to experience, well, I've been on here an hour. Whoa. Okay. So now what I want to help you to experience is how to communicate with the body, right? And it's so simple it can be taken for granted. I've done so many different types of processes, energy work. I mean, and I'm grateful. I tell you, I use them all at some point because of where people are, right? And I'm so grateful to God, Allah, for my journey and answering my prayers. Because I tell you, I haven't always been, who you see in front of you now. Yeah, the insecure one, the low self-esteem, the worrier, the doubt, the people pleaser, still challenged with some people pleasing at times in full transparency. And what else? Did I say insecure? Yeah, I said that one. Okay. Yeah. So I tell you, I am so grateful and thankful for my journey. And I have my prayers are being answered, right? And each step along the way, I tell you, when I was praying to God in the projects, in the closet, right? And start answering prayers, start answering them. And I could see the people, the places, the things, the situations, the circumstances start showing up. I didn't always understand a lot of it. However, I have my mother, my family, and my mother raised me, because it was just me and her for like 14 years before my lovely brother came along. It was just me and my mama. And she, I had to mature really fast, and, because she worked a lot and she made sure she took care of me. And my dad, he died too. So y'all, my mama and my daddy died, Lord, within 11 months of each other. My daddy died July 2024. My mother died June 2025. I was like, really? And my mother's death, and even my dad's death, we didn't, they were both battling the second round of cancer. Got over the first one. Both were battling the second round of, cancer. And, yeah, I tell you. I tell you, oh my gosh, I tell you. And my dad was my man. My dad was my heart too. Both my parents. Oh my gosh. And they weren't married to each other. All right, they weren't married to each other. So, yeah. So see, in, this moment, ooh, these tools help me. These tools really help me. And that's why I'm so committed even more now to just sharing